That's actually a text from my friend, so she's probably gonna kick my ass when she sees that I used it in my video. Love you. Good evening and welcome to lesson 7. Now, lesson 7 is going to focus on homophones. Homophones. Now, before I get into the lesson, I just want to mention something that I mentioned in, I believe, my first video. What I wanted to mention, and if you don't recall this conversation, you can always go back to that video through YouTube. But what I wanted to mention is that the English language is extremely complex. It is unnecessarily complex if you ask me, because the amount of words we have, first of all, and then on top of that, the amount of multiple meaning words we have, and then if you calculate into that the amount of words we have that are spelled or sound or look exactly the same, spell and look are the same thing, whatever. The point that I'm making is that this language, boy oh boy, if you didn't learn it from birth and, receive instruction your whole life learning it, it's extremely complex and confusing. Like, I can't tell you how much I struggle with my deaf students trying to get them to understand multiple meaning words. And they're like, but why? And my response is, honey, English language, really stupid. Now, this lesson is going to focus on homophones. And I like to use the ear in the phone, especially when I explain it to my students to get them to understand that homophones only sound the same. That's the big takeaway from homophones. Now, homophones are words that sound the same, but they have different spellings and different meanings. So, for example, if you have something like bored and bored. So bored, oh, I'm so bored, I have nothing to do. And bored, a board that you might have up on the wall, they have different spellings, but they sound exactly the same. The English language. Don't ask me. I don't know why they do it. Now, homophones are not to be confused with homonyms. Those are two different things. Now, homonyms are a whole nother ball of crazy. And I say that because they have the exact same spelling, but they have different meanings and at times different pronunciations. Sometimes they sound the same, sometimes they're pronounced differently. But the big takeaway from homonyms are that the spelling is exactly the same. I'm not going to dwell too deep into homonyms because I'll do another short video on them. I just want to make sure you understand the difference between the two, because a lot of times people confuse homophone and homonym because that homo part. But homophones are words that sound the same. They have different spellings. Homonyms are words that have the exact same spelling, but they have different meanings or different pronunciations. Some quick examples of some homonyms would be like left and left. She walked to the left, she left her purse. Those are two completely different meanings, exactly the same spelling. And then you have pen and pen. She's writing with a pen, the dog is in the pen. And then you have read and read. So read and read are spelled exactly the same, but the pronunciation is slightly different. You try convincing a child who's learning how to read though while they're reading and they say read and you go, oh no honey, past tense, you have to say read. Like, talk about confusing and extremely frustrating. Back to homophones though, because homophones is the purpose of this video. And homophones, again, are words that sound the same, but they have different spellings and different meanings. Now, a lot of times people will make a homophone error and say, oh, I just spelled it wrong. No, there's a big difference between not being able to spell the word diarrhea and using another word that sounds exactly like diarrhea and spelling that word correctly. So, for example, that text message that I showed you guys from my friend, this one right here where she used the word quite instead of quiet. In this particular case, she was actually using voice text, and that's how it happened. But the point that I want to make is that a person will have a grammatical error like that and say, oh girl, I spelled it wrong. Well, no, because you spelled an actual word. Like, this is a word, you just used the wrong one. So that's the difference between you having a homophone error versus you having a spelling error. We know the difference, okay? Like, stop, okay? You messed up. It's okay. It doesn't matter. You had good intentions. You were thinking of the right word because you were thinking of the right pronunciation. You just wrote the wrong one down. It happens. The biggest errors that I see with homophones on the internet come in, like as far as like social media posts and stuff like that, come in where, like I kind of said before, where people use the wrong word. They mean well, they're typing this beautiful, brilliant Facebook post or Instagram post or Twitter post, and they use the wrong word. So instead of using buy, B-Y-E, they use buy, like to buy something. And no one says anything. And that's what we need to understand is a problem. No one says anything. And the reason why people don't say anything is because you don't want to be attacked. You don't want people to call you the grammar police. What you have to understand is sometimes people don't catch their mistakes. Sometimes people don't realize they made a mistake. And if you're truly friends with this person, you can inbox them, you can text them. You don't have to humiliate someone on their status. Like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to comment on the status. You mean B-Y-E and not B-U-Y? Like, you don't have to do that. If your intentions are truly pure, if you truly just want to help that person, listen again. If your intentions are truly pure, want to help that person, you can help them privately. And then they can go and correct their status. If you just trying to show out and call them out, well, then you're going to correct them in front of everyone and they going to cuss your ass out. Just saying. They may curse you out when you inbox them. But more than likely, if they're actually a friend of yours, they're not going to curse you out. They're just going to go change their stat real quick. So it's not what you do, it's how you do it. You feel me? Now, sometimes people intentionally play with homophones, better yet. So they'll purposely, like rappers or sometimes singers, will purposely use, two homophones in their song to make a point or to put emphasis on something. Like this. So in that song clip, Uncle 2 Chainz used would and would. Would meaning something you would have done or may have done. And wood meaning a piece of wood, like a kitchen cabinet, like he said. So he intentionally played on those homophones for the purpose of the song, and it worked out great because that's my jam. I have a couple homophone visuals. Here is one that I found on the internet, and it kind of associates them with a picture. So bear versus bear, the tree is empty. It's bear versus bear, the animal. Bee, be quiet versus bee, the bug that stings you. Bean. Board versus board, that's the one I did earlier. Beach versus beach. Blue versus blue. And this is something that you could show your kids as a reminder for them, because unfortunately the English language is the way that it is, and it's extremely complex and difficult for no good reason. Okay, now more homophones that I noticed that a lot of people struggle with are accept with an A and accept with an E. People struggle with those two all the time. I've struggled with those myself. Like, I have typed something and used the wrong one and then had to delete. Like, no, that's not the right one. So just understand that it's natural. So accept with an A is to accept something. Accept with an E, they took everyone to the movies except me, to make an exception, like I was not included type thing. And then you have affect and effect, which no one says it like that. No one's walking around like, what is the effect of that? How did that affect? No, it's just affect with an A and affect with an E. And people struggle with those ones too. They mix those up all the time. I personally mix those two up all the time. So you have to first remember that a word is a homophone in order to catch a homophone error. If you think that you're truly using the only word that's out there for that word, or the only word out there that sounds like that, that's when you're going to make a homophone error, because you're going to use that word all the time. So try to familiarize yourself with homophones. Here's another visual for you with more homophones for you to look at. But there are tons of homophones, unfortunately, in the English language. So as you can see, this one breaks down the origin of the word. So homo meaning same and phones meaning sound. So these again are words that sound the same, but they're going to have different spellings and different meanings. If you come across two words that sound the same and have the same spelling, those are homonyms. Pair, pair, one, one, see, you, ant, I don't know how you say it, mall. Or no, male, right, hair. I can't read, apparently. Now, in closing, homophones are words that sound the same, but they have different spellings and different meanings. We have to first know that the word that we're using is a homophone so that we can make sure we're using the correct homophone. Now, in that post that I shared with you, that someone actually sent me that post where the person used sell, S-E-L-L, in the sentence, during the part of the sentence where they should have been using sale. I'm going to do a sale. I'm going to sell these for whatever price. They use sell, S-E-L-L, twice. And I see that one a lot too. People just overuse sell because sell and sale sound the same. Well, they're not the same, and they have two different meanings. So let's take a look at that post again real quick. So before I leave Buffalo, decided to have a sell. That should have been sale on the hair. I didn't sell, that one is correct, at the pop-up shop. Posting the hair on my story. You can buy it tonight, and I'll drop it off early a.m., or you could pick it up. Now, I'm not going to rewrite this post just because it's so much, so I'm just going to explain it. The first one at the top where she said, I leave Buffalo, decided, there's other issues with this, but I leave Buffalo and decided to have a sell. That is where she should have put sale. Something is on sale, not on sell. Sell is a verb. It's something that you do. Sale is not. That person made a mistake that a lot of people make, which is the sell versus sale mistake. You have to understand that you can sell something to someone. You can't sell something to someone. You can put something on sale, but you can't sell it to someone. So for that one, you really just have to think about it. You got to think it through. Read back over your stuff. But do you notice that 20 people liked it and I want to say 18 people shared it? Yet no one, I know that no one said anything because she would have switched it. Somebody could have inboxed her, hey girl, you accidentally used, tearing stuff up. Hey girl, you accidentally used sell instead of sale in your first sentence. Oh, damn girl, thanks for telling me that. Let me go ahead and fix that. Good looks, boo. No problem, sis. Whatever the case may be, it was a mistake that could have easily been fixed had someone said something. But no one said anything. But I can guarantee you people was talking about her. Or I'm assuming it's a girl because it's selling hair. I never seen guys sell hair. But anyway, I guarantee you people were talking about her. Girl, did you see how she wore her status? Like, honey, go to school much? You know, people talk. So I'm pretty sure people were talking about her, yet no one bothered to say anything to her. We as a people have to get better of trying to uplift each other and make each other better. This whole let me talk about everybody behind their back thing gets us nowhere. We make no progression when we do things that way. Keep that in mind. Let's look at some of those other ones that I noticed, that I found on the internet actually, of homophone errors. This right here blew my entire mind. We buy used cars? How dare you? I'm at the point with this one where I have to tell myself that this person did this on purpose just because it's that bad. Like, there's no way. But there's way. And then this one, the person used a homophone hair and hair. They use hair as in rabbit versus hair as in the hair on your head. So I don't think they're styling rabbits, like different kind of rabbits, but it could be. I could have the wrong business. Maybe this is my error. I don't know. So there we have it. In closing, homophones, phone sound here, earphone, are words that sound the same but have different meanings. So when you think homophone, think of how it sounds. We have reached the end of lesson 7. Please continue to send me grammatically incorrect posts that you find on the internet. I truly appreciate all those who send them to me. And if you notice that I haven't got to yours yet, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to cover it. I just I haven't got to it yet. I will definitely cover it, and I definitely appreciate you sending me that. Someone asked me the question, they inboxed me on Facebook and asked me, why don't I leave the person's name on the statuses that I share so that the person knows that they made a mistake? Well, again, like I told you, this is not about tearing people down. So I'm not going to humiliate someone for my personal come up. I don't get down like that. So I'm not going to do something like that to somebody. So I rather not put the person's name and provide a lesson to everybody. And those who need it can learn from it. Those who don't can laugh at it. Either way you go, it is what it is. So there we go. This is the end of the lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you. McCreary out.